Okay. So we had a little bit of a chit chat back and forth about Pesach, and Anna was saying how she uses shelving paper, and so she takes the opportunity to change her shelving paper before Pesach, and I think that's a really, really good idea because shelving paper needs, let's say, to be changed once a year. You're anyway going to have to clean it, if not take it out. So why not make it fresh? But I don't make sense in order to get all the crumbs that might be there.
Well,
But
also the issue is that they're old cabinets that were painted. So it has like the latex paint, and that's not one of the many surfaces that you can kosher or anything. So
you don't have to kosher. You don't have to.
I understand because
Anna,
you don't eat off of your shelves.
And you
I
don't
understand
put
that.
hot, and you don't put hot food on it.
Right, right. But
you're not
I mean,
cooking.
things
You're
do
not
spill in there.
cooking.
You should probably clean it out anyway.
No, that I agree, but you don't have to kosher it. Let's just
Right.
separate the difference between cleaning something and koshering. And a good way to describe it is that you can clean your windows, but there's no way to kosher them because you don't eat off of them. You can't make it kosher, just like you can't make it unkosher. So the closet shelves, you want to cover them with paper because they're like with paint and you don't want, that's great, but never think you have to kosher. You just have to wipe it. That's all. And by the way, it's nice to clean smudges of dirt, even if it had food in it. That's not edible food. So it's a good idea to clean because you need things to be cleaned, but it doesn't absolutely have to be done before Pesach. What has to be done before Pesach is get rid of your chametz, or, close it off. Latoya, were you here on Monday at the class?
Yes, I was.
Tonight? Do you have any questions?
Everything is obviously very brand new to me, but I did take some notes.
Right, it was brand new, right?
Yes, very brand new.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm still grasping everything. I spoke with Jeff, who explained a lot, because I did have a question about what was the purpose of the chametz, but he was
chametz. Oh, that's nice. Did he explain? So that's very sweet. We didn't even talk about that. We didn't talk about the existential reason that we have, and that's actually kind of nice. Thank you, Latoya. That gives me an opportunity to say that. And why do we even have a commandment from God to get rid of our chametz, which is leavened bread? And that is because we do so many things to commemorate the time when God saved us from Egypt, brought us out of Egypt, and turned us into a nation, the nation of Israel, the Jewish people. One of the things that happened at the time was because they were leaving hastily in the middle of the night. They couldn't wait for their dough to rise and make proper bread or proper fluffy bread. And therefore it baked on the backs of their necks, from what I understand, or at least there are some kinds of communities who, you say Ada in English? I don't actually know how to say it. It's not exactly community. Like you might have Moroccan ethnic, more like an ethnicity would be. They would walk around on Seder night. They actually reenact it by putting something on the back of the neck. I don't know what it is, because it would then baked in the sun. So there's a big difference between all kinds of chametz, which is the word for this leavened bread, which is or flour that rose, so it can make crackers, it can make cookies, anything made out of flour, except for matzah. We don't eat on Pesach. By the way, I'm not talking about if somebody has health issues. That's just not, somebody has a health issue, reach out to me personally, because that's not relevant for the general group. But if somebody doesn't have specific health issues, then the only thing we make cookies, crackers, bread, anything out of is ground up matzah on Pesach. So Latoya, to answer your question, this actually leads us right into food. So that was perfect. Why do we get rid of chametz? Because we want to reenact, reminisce, and make it part of our communal memory. I love that idea of communal memory, by the way. It's just a beautiful idea. Who doesn't know what a Seder is? I mean, unless you're new to Judaism or your family, was literally cut off from Judaism, or you kept, almost every Jewish family has some sort of Seder. And it's certainly the minority, those who don't. So we have strong communal memory about reenacting, remembering, and keeping in our memories front and center the exodus from Egypt, God saving us from slavery and turning us into a Jewish nation. And one of the ways that we do it is by getting rid of chametz and only keeping matzah products or products that don't have any grain in them. Okay, so now before we get to, I also have a file that'll be useful, hopefully, to you for looking at foods. Let's just talk about the different kinds of foods that there are in general in the world. And we're going to classify them today according to what can be chametz. Hello and welcome to everybody, including Suzanne, who just joined us. I actually didn't say hello, which is not nice. Jeff, hello. Robert Moshe, hello. Jean, hello. Alex Ziska, you look like Sabina. Oh, I only know that because I saw you 2 days ago. It is Sabina. Awesome.
He just got off his Yiddish class.
Ah.
I got to change the name.
Yeah, Abyssal Yiddish. Okay. Carol, welcome. Andrea, Debbie, good to see you. And it was wonderful to see you guys on Sunday at the Run for Their Lives. It was really, really, really meaningful. Latoya, Anna, Judy, and Fran. Good to see everybody. This is the class where we talk about food for Pesach and we ask as many questions as you have. This is the place to do it. Okay, so now let's classify just in general, and people can unmute. That's okay with me. Let's just classify foods. Remember, we just spoke about chametz, but what is chametz? We classify them according to it is chametz, it might be chametz, it could be chametz. Let's talk about that, okay? The first thing you have to know that something can only be chametz if it is one of 5 grains, made of one of 5 grains. And there is an acronym for it. I wonder if I put that acronym in my file. I did not. Ooh, I'm going to put it in right now. 1 minute. You know what? I'll do it while I'm speaking with you. This is a good way for me to check that everything I wrote really makes sense. People can see? Yes. Okay. Oh, let me make it bigger. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment.
It's right there. Wheat,
No, I know,
barley,
but I
spelt,
want
dry oats.
No, I know it is. I wanted to make it bigger. Just a moment. How do I get rid of
You
that?
could try Control Plus.
Yes, I will. I'm just trying to get rid of this thing on the, oh, cancel. Sorry. Okay. Control Plus. Okay, let's try Control Plus. This is a Mac. Works differently from a.
I don't know. I have a.
I know. Oh, there you. It's just.
There you go.
It's just
Okay, so
command.
that's what I do. Control Plus.
Oh, so this isn't Control. It's a different one, but the plus worked, and I thank you,
Okay.
Judy Benstock. Look how aware you are. Look at that. So there is a way to remember these. I'm going to write it for you. I came up with this once. I don't remember where it was. Oh, here we can do it this way. B-A-R-L-E-Y R-Y oats, wheat. This is how I remember it. It is brows. B like eyebrows. That's how you can remember what the 5 grains are. Everybody see that? People with me? Somebody say yes.
Yes,
Yes, we
good.
got it.
Awesome,
We got it. We got it.
awesome. Okay, well, I wanted to make sure that you got it. That's all. Okay, so making this, oh, I just wanted that to be, and this is, oh, so brows, that's how I remember the 5. Sometimes I forget the rye or the spelt, because it's a little hard to remember those because we don't often have, but spelt is eaten by some people who can't have wheat. Wheat has too much gluten for them. I can't have spelt either, unfortunately. No, we don't want Hebrew. No. Let's try that again. R-O-W-S. There you go. Okay. Only these 5 grains can make chametz. Why? Because, or matzah. Why? Because those were the 5 grains I think that were around then.
But aren't they also the only grains you can make hamotzi on?
Exactly. Perfect. So thank you for saying that. These are the 5 grains. I'm going to go back to the source sheet. Don't worry. And by the way, in the email that I sent out that it's starting at 8, there's a link to the source sheet. So you can, although I'm making changes now, you're not going to see the changes, but I'm going to upload the changes as soon as the class is over. So Anna is 100% right. Remember, we have brachot, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We say that on Shabbat or during the week if we're eating bread, challah, bread, rolls, baguettes, bagels, pita bread, all of those are hamotzi because they act like bread, they taste like bread, but only if they're made of these 5 grains: barley, rye, oats, wheat, spelt. If you make it out of quinoa flour or almond flour or corn flour or bean flour, there are bean flours now for people who are gluten-free, like me, then you can't make a hamotzi on it. And if you make it into a cookie or a cracker, you can't make hamotzi on it. Sorry, borei minei mezonot on it. People familiar with that? Borei minei mezonot is what we say on pasta, on cookies, on crackers. What else? Pastries. I don't know what else. Anything that's made of these, only these 5 flours. So the
So
corn, yeah,
What bracha then do you make on like a corn muffin?
shahakol.
But I think
good
a lot
question.
of corn muffins actually have flour in them. It depends on it.
So they may, if they do, I think they have to have more than 50% for you to
Oh,
say.
is that how it is? Okay.
Yeah, because I know for oats I have that because I'm gluten-free, and the only way for me to say hamotzi on Shabbat, let's say if I want to for the meal on Shabbat, obviously I could eat it during the week if I wanted. That's because of calories that I don't eat it during the week. But if I want to, I have to have an oat muffin or oat roll, and it has to be more than 50% oat flour. So first of all, I want to make that really clear. From the Torah, one second, Carol. From the Torah, the prohibition is only things of meat made of these 5 grains. Everybody with me on that? I want to make that really crystal clear. Only these 5 grains. If it's made of anything else, it is not biblically prohibited. I just want to stay with that for a moment. Yes, Carol.
Right, so I was thinking about rice flour, brown rice flour.
Okay, so we haven't gotten to that yet. We're starting with the 100%. We're about to get, yeah, brown rice, white rice, yeah, because that's used by people who are gluten-free.
Oh, it's not
this
kitniot. It's brown.
But
it's
we
brown.
we haven't mentioned the word kitniot. We haven't said the K
okay.
word. We haven't said it yet. We're about to get there.
Okay.
I just want to go in order because I like to make things clear. I like to make seder. What is seder? What does that mean? Anybody know?
Order.
Order.
It means order. That's what it means.
Order.
The reason we call it Leil HaSeder is because there's a very strict order to our Seder night, correct?
But
There's a reason.
be,
it's not just a word that was made up. It means
could
order.
be in
like,
more than one place.
So I like
librarian,
to
I know it could be indexed in more than one
be
place.
more than one place.
But the flour, because
Correct. Very good. Exactly. So I'm indexing, Carol. Right. So exactly. So I'm indexing right now, biblical, right? For B. Biblical prohibition. Okay. What separates chametz and matzah, or chametz and not chametz? Biblical. We're doing biblical now. It has to be made of these 5 grains, and matzah means you take one or more of these 5 grains and you create an unleavened matzah. It has to be the way, you remember, the sages always put work clothes on every mitzvah that we have. They always give it amounts, right? How much to drink kiddush? You can't make kiddush. Do you know you can't make kiddush on a little schnapps glass? Did you know that? Those little cups, you can't make kiddush on that. Carol knows because she was in shul when I taught it. No, not because of that. Okay. But in any case, you need at least 3.3 ounces because our sages, they said everything has to have an amount or a time attached to it. Otherwise, anybody can do whatever they want. They like to make seder, to make order. So, so these 5 grains, okay, when you make them into matzah, it has, in order for it never to become leavened, whoever heard of that word until the Jews, had Pesach, there was no word leavened. I don't even, I didn't know what it meant as a kid. I still don't really know what it means. It just means somehow that it's rising. And it has to be handled less than 18 minutes from start to finish. And if you ever were in a matzah baking factory, which by the way, if you ever have an opportunity to go, it's really cool. It's just cool to see how it's done. They handle it really, really, really fast. They never let it rest. And every 18 minutes, there's a ding. They clean everything off from scratch, because if you have any leftover dough, that dough will be more than 18 minutes. Does that make sense? Everybody follow me on that? I want to see some nods. And if you don't understand, please ask me, because sometimes I speak quickly and okay.
Mm.
So you could take any of these 5 grains, and spelt matzah, by the way, is delicious. I've had it. Unfortunately, my body doesn't process it just like it doesn't process wheat matzah. But if you like spelt matzah, it's delicious. Oat matzah is horrendous, and that's what I get to eat. So, when you're crunching away on your matzah saying, I can't believe I have to have it, just be glad you don't have to have oat matzah.
You get
And I
the
have to
real
have it because
feeling of slavery and the
suffering.
the proper
There
suffering.
you go. Exactly. It actually turns into a bit of a bitter paste. It's a little bit like maror, a little bitter. In any case, wait, I was going to say something about that, about the 5 grains. I can't remember, but I'll get back to it. On Pesach, or Pesach, same thing. Our custom is we only make matzah out of flour, only matzah. When you make something, a cake, a muffin, I'm not talking about potato starch. I'm talking about a mezonot one that you say borei minei mezonot. It's ground up matzah, meaning it was baked as a matzah under 18 minutes. Somebody ground it up afterwards. Sometimes it's called cake meal, means they ground it up even finer. And then that is how you make a cake or whatever it is you make. I don't, some people make donuts, matzah balls. What are matzah balls? That's ground up matzah. You never take flour on Pesach. Unless somebody's making matzah. You are allowed to make matzah on Pesach, but it's like a little iffy, right? Because what if you go over the 18 minutes? You literally made chametz on Pesach, which is a no-no. So we don't recommend that.
So
Everybody with me so far?
A question, Bracha. So all the cakes for Pesach that we know are made with whatever, ground up cake flour or cake meal or whatever.
It's ground up matzah,
right, which they call it cake meal or something, right? Cake flour.
Or they're shahakol cakes. That's what we call them,
Okay.
shahakol
So,
cakes, meaning they have no.
Yeah, my question is, since
Wait, I just want to explain to people what shahakol cakes are. Shahakol cakes are when there's no matzah mel in it, of any kind. No, it's just like potato starch in there.
well,
I mean, potato starch and other things.
It could be almond flour. It could be almond.
Correct. Today it could also be almond. 100%. There are delicious almond flour.
Yeah, and very expensive, I may add. So the other thing is,
I have good recipes to make your own. Yeah.
So my question is, if the breads are made out of matzah meal or matzah flour, whatever, they grind it up very, very. So why is it you don't
wait, slow down, Judy. What breads? We don't make bread on
I mean
Pesach.
cakes. If the cakes are made out of the matzah,
ground up matzah,
so why do we not say a motzi on it?
The same reason you don't say it's a good question. The same reason you don't say hamotzi on like flour in cakes. It's the same thing.
Yeah, so
in other words, once it's ground up, it's not in its natural state.
Oh, that's why it is. That's what it is.
The flour that we're using, in other words, I mean, it's a good question. That's just the way brachot work. I hear what you're saying, but flour can be made into bread. So if you make flour into a cookie, why don't you say hamotzi lecha min haaretz? It's the same question, Judy. It's how we classify things. Okay. So 1 second, Anna, did you want to say?
Well, no, as part of that, I just wanted to say that once it's at that point, it becomes an element and transformed into something else. It's transformed into cake. It's no longer a bread. So just like you wouldn't say hamotzi on,
I mean, it's a little trickier on Pesach, because on Pesach, the only thing we want to say hamotzi on is matzah. So you could make a muffin, which sort of acts like bread, but you wouldn't say hamotzi on it.
Okay.
I can't imagine anybody would do that. But it's a good question. It shows, Judy, and it shows a nuance, like a sort of a liminal space. But let's just accept that as that's the way we do it.
I was wondering actually if it was a matter of measurement, or what's the ratio
Not in this case,
of the matzah to the egg and the this.
No, because remember, you think about matzah balls. Matzah balls all year round. You might make a borei minei mezonot on it, but you wouldn't make a hamotzi lecha min haaretz, even though the same matzah melt that you use to make matzah balls, right? You could make matzah out of. Well, you couldn't make matzah because it already was.
A question came
It's
into
actually what
play.
Anna said. You've transformed it into a different
Okay.
material that
That
has
makes
different
sense.
uses. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Thank you, Anna.
Okay,
Bonnie,
thank
what's
you.
your question? Bonnie Geller Gold.
Oh,
What is your
Bonnie's
question?
here. Hi, Bonnie.
You have to unmute.
It's
There
really
you go. Ah, there she is.
Hi. Thank you for the program, Rabbanit Bracha. Anyway, I have a question about egg matzah. I remember even as a kid, the warning, the warning on the bottom of egg matzah that it should only be eaten by somebody a choleh, somebody sick. What is that? What's the
I'm going to
status?
explain that to you. Great question. Great question. People understand Isaac's question? What about egg matzah? Or something called matzah ashira, matzah ashira. It's called rich matzah. Matzah that's made out of, let's say, egg and flour and water, or flour instead of water with orange juice or something like that. Or what was it that you said? It was with the one that you said, Isaac, is made with what?
Eggs.
Egg matzah, right? Egg matzah. So our custom, very strong. I mean, it's basically that's what we do. Not just ours, also the Sephardim. You don't have to be Ashkenazic for this. It's just that the Sephardim, they make a soft matzah, more like a pita.
Right.
But it's our very, 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 very strong custom, to the extent of it being halacha, is that unless you have health issues, like you can't have regular matzah for some reason. I don't know. I've never spoken to somebody who actually ate egg matzah. So on one hand, it's not chametz. It's not chametz.
Right.
Our strong custom is you only make one kind of hamotzi on Pesach, flour and water. Whether it's because it has more of a chance of being chametz, or I don't know, but whatever reason, we take the simplest, and that might have to do with it being lechem oni, being poor man's matzah. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Poor man's bread. But we do not eat our minhag, our custom. We don't eat what we call matzah ashira, which is with egg. Now, I want to tell you, here's a trick. I spoke about this on Monday, and I think I did, that I used to clean my home when I had young children, and I start cleaning my home ahead of time. I still remember as kids that we had to brush our face, wash our face, brush ourselves off before Pesach when we left the table, so we wouldn't carry any crumbs into the rooms. But once I cleaned the room and my kids still needed to have a cookie or a cracker, I bought them cookies that were matzah ashira. That I wouldn't eat them on Pesach because they were flour, egg, and water, not matzah, egg, and water. Flour. It's a little hard to wrap your mind around it. But it wasn't chametz, but we wouldn't eat it on Pesach, but I could give it to my kids, and I could certainly give it to them for the 2 weeks before Pesach, so they wouldn't make chametz stick crumbs anywhere. So that's one of those kind of hacks. Where it's not chametz, but it's not matzah.
In the middle place somewhere.
Right.
So,
it's not chametz. You don't have to sell it, but it is our custom that we do not eat anything made out of flour except something made out of flour and water, which is matzah.
As finish this off, what about eating, Erev Pesach, when we no longer can eat chametz, and are you allowed to? Then you wouldn't eat egg matzah at that time either, because it would
definitely not. So we didn't get to that, but we will get to that in a minute. I mean, we could just say it now, but Erev Pesach is a complicated day food-wise. I wasn't really going to talk about that so much, but it's a problem because we're not allowed to have matzah. The people know that we're not allowed to eat matzah. A lot of people don't eat matzah or matzah mel from Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and some from Purim. Some from Purim. Don't eat matzah, don't eat, so they wouldn't eat those cakes probably because they're made out of matzah mel. They might not eat matzah balls. But for sure, Erev Pesach, there is a very strong prohibition. You're going to love this. Can I tell you what it's called? If somebody eats matzah on Erev Pesach, because you're supposed to have a good taste for matzah at night. That's why you want to keep it fresh in your mouth.
Right.
It's called as if a man had sexual relations with his fiancee in her father's house.
Oy vey.
I kid you not. That is the way it's described. Not sure where they got all those connections, but you understand the idea being you're about to be allowed to eat it, right? As soon as the wedding happens, according to the simile, the parable, as soon as it happens, you'll be allowed to. So what are you doing now? You know, having sexual relations with my kid. It's the same idea. So, but that's how strongly they couched it. Just
Rabbanit,
saying.
just in,
Yes.
to Isaac's question, because I think Manischewitz is selling chocolate-covered egg matzah. So that would not be allowed, or would it be allowed?
We don't eat. Okay, now, Erev Pesach, what do
No.
you eat?
During
No,
Pesach.
on Pesach itself, correct. On Pesach itself, for sure you wouldn't eat it. The question is, I thought his question was, can you eat it Erev Pesach?
Well, that was another question he asked.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I already answered that you can't have egg matzah of any kind.
It was for dessert, but you can't it for anything. You can't have it for anything.
Well, it could be, Bonnie, that matzah isn't made of flour. If it's not made of flour, it's okay. It could be made of potato starch.
No. I think it
if
said
it says egg matzah, look at the ingredients, Bonnie, to see. 1 second.
I'm not there. Somebody told me about it. That's why I wanted.
All right, but I want to show everybody something. Give me a second. I've taken it out of my Pesach closet and not make everything fall down. So these I sometimes eat all year round because I'm gluten-free. So Yehuda makes, I think they're delicious. They're called matzah style squares. They look like matzah. Just show everybody. They look like matzah. You see, it's gluten-free. So if it's gluten-free, we already know it doesn't have any of the BROWS. It could have oat, but it doesn't. This is not made of oat. This is made of potato starch, basically. It's made of tapioca starch, water, potato starch, potato flakes, palm oil,
It kind of
honey.
tastes like a potato chip.
No, it does
They're
not.
delicious.
Not in my. I think they're delicious. I don't think it tastes. Potato chips taste more fried usually, but whatever. Egg yolk. This is the one with the onion flakes. So this is Pesach thick, and it's delicious. It looks like matzah. It kind of acts like matzah. Doesn't exactly taste like matzah, but they look like matzah. So this you could have, Bonnie. You have to check that it doesn't have any flour in it. Then you could have it Erev Pesach. Okay, Bonnie and Isaac. All right, we have now established. Is it clear with everybody? Sorry, Bonnie. Yeah, what?
He said, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, we have established that what is matzah and what is chametz, right? Everybody clear on that? That's, everybody good? Any questions? Are we good? I mean, you don't have to think about it that much because you just go to the store and buy it, and if it's OUP or if it has a P on it for Pesach, but you might want to know if it has flour in it, or if it has matzah meal in it or not. Now, in the middle, in between biblically prohibited chametz, or this way, I guess, and matzah, however you want to hold your hands, there's something in the middle. And that thing in the middle is called kitniot or kitnios. The tough at the end, it's just, you could pronounce it like Israelis kitniot or Americans kitnios. What are kitniot? Let's look at my file. Let me just see if I have anything else. Oh, sorry. Let's just go over. Yeah, I guess we can go over this. Before we get to kitniot, here's a partial list of foods that are inherently kosher lePesach, meaning that they don't have in them any chametz or any of the flour. Fresh fruits, vegetables, eggs, meat, poultry, fish, not ground meat. Ground meat could have in it something chametz. Whole spices, sugar or salt without additives. Is that clear to people? What kinds of foods?
And not brown sugar, right? Only granulated sugar.
Right. So anything that has any kind of additive, you're running into trouble. If it's processed, if it has an additive, if it's cooked, anything like that, you have to check because you don't know what the process is. That's why we have OU and K and OK and whatever, triangle K, all the Ks.
1,000 other Ks.
Somebody sent me a message. Oh, Jean asked a great question. And by the way, these questions can be asked to everybody. Everybody can say them. I have gluten-free crackers, which has cassava flour and tapioca starch. Obviously not kosher Pesach. Do I need to get rid of these crackers? You do not. Cassava flour and tapioca flour are both kosher Pesach. I discovered it last year. Somebody told me about it. I use it during the year, cassava flour. Good question, Jean. Thank you. Okay. There are major organizations that offer Pesach guides. We have the OU Star KCRC. You have links to it in the file. And then we created, meaning mostly me, but the rabbis in general, basically we collated all the questions that people sent that weren't specifically part of our guides, and we put them in our FAQs. And so that if you have any specific question, you can consult it. You can always ask me. You can join the WhatsApp group, as I pointed out. Please join it for any questions. So when you consult these guides in our FAQ file, you'll see which foods do need a special kosher Pesach supervision, which foods do not need kosher Pesach supervision, and which food items may be purchased before Pesach without a kosher Pesach, but only before Pesach. And I want to explain that. Bonnie, question for Isaac. Bonnie or Isaac, you want to unmute?
Sorry, he used Isaac's question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, in terms of what one disposes and what one sells, is there anything that's really? I mean, I used to throw out things like let's bread, but let's say you have crackers, you have things that are real chametz, but you don't want to throw out the box. I mean,
so first of all, Bonnie asked that question, and I did. It's not about you. You might not be watching WhatsApp, but I believe I answered that question in WhatsApp, because Bonnie had the same question. You
Bonnie
guys should talk to each other more
we
often.
don't talk to each other.
That's the
No, we
thing.
don't
Set up a time to talk to each. You guys know each other. You should know each other. I think you'd get along really well. So it's a great question. What do you have to get rid of? What do you have to sell? And basically, when I was growing up, so people said only sell things that are worth, they have seid merubeh, meaning that you'll lose a lot of money, like whiskey. But today, during COVID, we thought differently. And today it's really up to you. Whatever you want to sell, you can sell. Whatever you want to keep, you can keep. Sorry, let me say that again. Whatever you want to keep and sell, you can. Whatever you want to get rid of or donate, you can, even if it is a half open box of crackers. But if you don't want to just throw it away, you can't give away a half a box of crackers. That doesn't feel good to anybody. So close it up. The only thing you have to do then is you have to aggregate all of your chametz. Doesn't have to be in one place. Might be some in the freezer, might be in a closet. You need to put it in an opaque bag and mark it as chametz, and make sure you sell it. So go on the Buy It website.
Okay, and I'm not any less of a Jew if I don't throw it out.
Exactly. We all have a lot of guilt.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You didn't hear that from me. Good one, Anna. Judy, what's your question?
So I think you're about to. I raised my hand, and then you were about to answer it, because I never understood about buying things before Pesach that you can use.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, you ready? Great. I was about to explain this. There are some foods, obviously anything that has kosher Pesach on it. Everybody with me? If it has kosher Pesach on it, you can buy it before Pesach. You can buy it on Pesach. It doesn't matter, because it's kosher Pesach. Now, when I was a child, we used to buy all the fruits and vegetables for the whole Chag before Chag. Now, we had a garage, we had a place to put it. That was just like in case you bought tomatoes and I don't know, somehow a piece of chametz fell in it and you brought it home or something. But that is a very, very stringent attitude. Most of us don't have room to buy things for 8 days or 9. Actually, it's too much. How many eggs? I mean, I don't have room to store it. I don't have room in my refrigerator. It would all get ruined. But now the question is, are there foods that you could buy that don't have kosher Pesach supervision, So some things you're allowed to buy without kosher Pesach supervision, just anytime. Like I think extra virgin olive oil, for example. I think that's one of the foods that even though it's processed, the way it's processed makes it inherently kosher Pesach all year round. So you can buy that Erev Pesach, you can buy that a month before, and you can buy that on Pesach. But there are foods like, for example, I think milk. I'm not talking about lactose free. I think there might be a difference, and it's in my FAQs or it's in the food thing. It may have some chametz that somehow got in it, okay? But before Pesach, you can nullify 1 in 60 parts, achad mishishim. And obviously, if you buy a container of milk, even if for some reason there's a speck of chametz in it, it's less than 1 out of 60. Everybody with me? It's less than 1/60th. So you could buy some products that have some sort of a doubt that chametz could get in it. You could buy it before Pesach without supervision, without kosher Pesach, because you're going to nullify any chametz that may have possibly gotten mixed up in it. The problem is that on Pesach itself, you can't nullify it even 1 in 1,000, even 1/10,000, even 1 million. There is no nullifying of chametz on Pesach itself. So if you buy something without kosher Pesach supervision that needs, that's not in that weird category, and you buy it on Pesach, and for some odd reason, some chametz got mixed up, even if you can't see it, you are actually transgressing the prohibition of owning chametz. Judy, was that clear?
Yeah. So when you say you're nullifying it, that's when you do bikur,
bitul.
And then you say the bracha, and that's nullifying. So,
right, there's two nullifying. There's nullifying the night before, after b'dikat chametz, and during the day.
Okay, but besides milk, which I remember you can always do the milk, what else can you buy before? I'm not talking about fruits and vegetables, but I'm talking about what else can you buy before Pesach that doesn't have to have kosher for Pesach on it besides milk?
I don't remember offhand, but the guides will tell you.
Okay.
And maybe our FAQs. And what we do is when people ask us, we go to check the guides, or we ask somebody who's knowledgeable. If somebody has a hesitancy about it, I just don't exactly remember offhand.
Because I remember milk was a big thing that you could buy.
Yeah, just milk. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Bonnie
Sorry.
or Isaac. It's okay.
I thought there was also frozen juices, frozen vegetables.
That was Carol, not Bonnie. I don't remember, and I don't want to say because I don't remember.
So
if you have a question, you'll ask me. Yeah.
My question is, let's say something is kosher for Pesach, because it actually happened. I have balsamic vinegar, but I needed to use it last week. So I said, okay, I'm opening it. I'll put it away. But can it be used for Pesach if it says, it's kosher for Pesach and I opened the bottle already?
So you tell me, what do you think? Logically, what do you think?
I think it can.
I think it can.
Isaac thinks it can't. That's why. And I think logically, same with salt.
Wait a second. He says no. You say yes?
Yes.
Got it.
Who's cooking, Bonnie? That's
no, but I try to please my husband.
No, just say traditionally, I can't imagine the idea for me for Pesach. It's a mind thing, that even though you said no chametz got into it, but you opened it, you somehow despoiled it already.
Okay, so Isaac, I'm sorry to tell you that your wife is correct in this case. And that is something that we have this kind of tradition that, we opened it before Pesach. That's it. It's chametz. Can't touch it. So if you opened it a half a year ago, if you opened it 3 months ago, and you don't remember if maybe you poured it over a pot that had steam, right? And then therefore the steam could have carried teeny weeny particles of chametz. That's why we don't usually use spices that are open before Pesach. Why? Because all we need to do is pour it over a steaming hot thing, and chametz literally travels up the steam into your spice thing. But if you opened it last week and you know exactly that you poured it off, chametz could not have, and I'm not trying to make fun, Isaac, but it literally couldn't have jumped into your bottle. And I really mean it. Like, we can be logical about it. I mean, I'm always happy to answer questions. I just want to say you can also trust yourself on that. But by literally opening the bottle cannot actually make it chametzdik. Something that makes it chametzdik, it actually has to have chametz in it. And there's no way that opening the bottle and pouring it into a cup can make it. Now, I'm not saying there are many people who I opened it before Pesach. I don't care. I'm putting it away till after Pesach. I don't care. You can do that. I don't have any. I have people in my family who do that. But that doesn't mean that halachically you have to.
So that's
Right,
interesting.
Bracha, I'm sorry, Bonnie. I just wanted to mention.
I don't want to start fights between the two of you, not on camera.
This is on a different, it like reminds me in the supermarkets, one of the signs of Pesach coming is when they put the white paper on the shelves in the supermarket, and it's sort of as if that was going to protect us from the chametz. I mean, it really, in a sense, doesn't make sense, but okay.
Well, I think it does, because a supermarket is a very big space and many crumbs can be flying because people are not careful. And when you put the white paper on, it also reminds the people who are stocking shelves not to mix up. So I think that in a supermarket, it's actually not a bad idea. But again, it's not because halachically you absolutely have to. It's because it makes sense, because you're dealing with large quantities and with many people. And the more cooks can spoil the pot, because it's hard for everybody to remember. That's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I really want to give people guides so that they do things the right way, but you can use, but if you have any doubt, if you say, she said this, but it doesn't exactly fit that question, it's a little different, ask. It's okay. I mean, if you don't know, it's better to ask so that you'll get the answer. And I don't mean at all to make fun of anybody. If I say you don't have to do it, but you can do it, I'm not making fun of you. It's okay with me if you do it. I just want you to know the halacha, that the halacha does not require you to do it. And also, let me say it a little differently. When we're paskening, when we're saying something for a whole community or for a large, then you just don't know if the people are going to follow, is everybody going to follow well? If you didn't pour it over a hot steaming pot, I don't know, so you just say, look, if you opened it before Pesach, it's just better to put away, because some people remember, some people don't. But if you, Bonnie, and Isaac know that you opened it last week, you poured it into a paper cup or a measuring cup and you put it back, you know that you didn't do anything to it. And like, I don't know with my spices what I did. And I'm sure some of them I never put, seasoned over a hot pot. But do I remember from the last 11 months? I don't remember which ones. So I don't use them. Everybody clear on that? Does that make sense to people?
So how many salts do I have from years?
That's a problem. Well, that's chaval. Like, either put the salt away, salt doesn't spoil. So either keep it away for Pesach, but then you have to write down what do you have so you don't buy a new one. Every year we buy new salt and pepper. See, pepper loses its potency. So you actually do want to, after Pesach, use it because it'll be fresh. In Israel, they grind the spices right before Pesach. So the freshest spices are always Pesach. So you buy them Pesach time and then you use them all year round. Okay. Wait, is that correct? Nope. Sorry, I have to find it again. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Judah answered your question about the buying it before Pesach.
Right. I mean, it'd be interesting to know what else besides milk, but I'll look it up.
So you know what? We'll open up the FAQ. I can open up right now. How convenient. It's right here. Let's see. Just about the food. So I need to throw or give away all food that contains chametz. This was Isaac's question, very important. Please note, kitnia, which we're about to learn about, is not chametz, does not need to be sold. Okay, koshering, no, we're not asking about koshering. Kosher for Pesach products open before Pesach. Here you go, Bonnie, here's your question. So this tells you all about what needs to be. Now, do these need supervision? I'm just checking, dairy. Here, while not recommended by the major kashrut organizations, some rabbinic opinions allow for buying plain dairy products before Pesach and relying on beetle nullification. That's what I explained before, that before Pesach, you could nullify 1 in 60th, but on Pesach, there is no nullification, even 1 in a gazillion. You know, that's not a word, but still 1 in a gazillion. This would include milk, cream cheese plain, butter, cottage cheese only plain, yogurt plain, all cheeses that have no other ingredients besides cheese and the curdling agent.
Wow.
Lemon
Okay.
juice. Oh no, that's what you can't buy without. 1 second. Lactate pills, almond milk. There was some kidney concern. 1 second. Coconut water. That's okay. Ah, here you go, Bonnie. Frozen orange juice. Frozen 100% pure orange concentrate does not require special certification, but all other juices, including grapefruit, do require certification as enzymes are used in processing. Liquid orange juice requires it. Anyway, it's in the FAQs. Oh, wait. Here we go. This is for you, Carol.
Oh, Trader
Frozen
Joe's
fruit.
orange juice. Oh, goody. Okay.
Frozen fruit without additives, syrup, and vitamins does not require kosher Pesach supervision. Frozen vegetables always require kosher Pesach certification. I don't know why. Must be something in the way it's prepared.
No,
Quinoa is another one. What?
Yeah, I'm just saying last year in Florida, they did not bring in enough cottage cheese with an OUP in it. And we went all over looking for cottage cheese, cream cheese with an OUP in it. And we were buying it beforehand. That would have been helpful to know.
Yep.
We would have not bothered to go all over the place. We went to every single store.
No, it said you had to buy it before, Carol.
Yeah, but we were trying to buy it before, but they didn't bring enough in.
No, I understand. Oh, it would have been.
I know I don't have to do that. I just can buy the regular one that's kosher and say
Oh, yes. So again, some rabbinic opinions, right? So it's the more lenient position, but in your case, especially for you, aren't you vegan now?
Yes, it's not for me, it's my husband.
Oh, it's for your husband. So somebody who
cream cheese. Oh yeah, okay. So I know that the cream cheese I use, which is fake, it's definitely not kosher Pesach. But
because it's kidney oat.
Because it's kidney oat. So I can probably make a fake one out of cashews. I've done that.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. You can buy them made out of cashews, but they may not be kosher Pesach.
So,
I'm just trying to see what.
I'm a little. It says some rabbinic.
Where are you?
No, when you're talking about before Pesach, you said some rabbinic opinion.
The dairy.
But I would like to know what the HIR rabbinic opinion is on that, and that is if can you buy cream cheese. I mean, I knew about the milk, but I didn't know about cream cheese and butter. And
so I think so. Here's what I'll tell you, Judy. If it's something that you need for your family, like this year, we have 5 out of the 8 days. Well, 9 days really, because they're Pesach, but 5 out of the 8.5 days are Yontif. Now, some people mostly have meat, but if you need dairy products, then you're like, I can't eat meat and chicken the whole time. It's too much. I need my dairy to give me protein. I can't find, because you're in Florida. Are you going to be in Florida?
I am in Florida, but I'm sure that I'll find very expensive cream cheese that's OUP.
No, but like what Carol's saying, if you have a lot of cottage cheese and you really need that, because that's something that your family really needs in order to get protein that's not meat or chicken, and you can't find OUP or Huff KP, whatever, then you have who to rely on. In other words, what we're saying, the HIR opinion is your first choice should be OUP for these, or Pesach supervision. If you can't find it and you need it, you have who to rely on. But you have nobody to rely on, for example, to buy frozen vegetables that aren't kosher Pesach. So that's what it means. It means if you can't find, if you have trouble finding, and you like, I don't need it because I don't need dairy. So obviously for me, there would be no reason for me to do that.
I can live without cream cheese, butter, and cottage cheese. I'm just saying, it was interesting to me, some rabbinic opinions, but I would like to know your rabbinic opinion.
No, I understand. So our rabbinic opinion is look for the Pesach supervision, and if you can't find it and you need it, you have who to rely on.
Okay, thank you.
That's what it means. That's what it means when you say that.
Okay.
So
okay.
So I'm so confused. If I buy cottage cheese and I don't open it up, say I like a particular, I happen to like cheese. As long as it's kosher cottage
So do
cheese,
I.
it
So do
doesn't
I, by
have
the way.
to- It doesn't have to say kosher for Passover cottage cheese.
That's not what I
It could
said.
just-
That's
That's
not
why I'm
what I
very
said.
confused.
Yeah, that's
What
why
I
I
said
wanted
was-
to clear it up.
What
Yeah,
I said was, first you look for kosher Pesach supervision. That's what I said.
Right.
If you can't find and you need it because that's what you use for protein, or that's what you love to eat and you really don't eat, or you have a kid who only has, I don't know, matzah and cottage cheese the whole Pesach, or matzah, pizza matzah pizza, and you need the cheese, or that's what you need, because then there are rabbinic authorities, so you have who to rely on, but you must then buy it before Pesach to rely on nullification. But it's not, we always need to write, this is not the mainstream. But if you had, Sabina, if you were in the store and you had cottage cheese with kosher Pesach and cottage cheese without, they are not equal. This one, everybody accepts. This one, only if you can't find.
Right. And what about almond?
So everything has its own. I don't have an answer, but we say, you should get on our WhatsApp because I answered that question. Are you on it?
I hate WhatsApp.
Oh, you hate
I'm
WhatsApp.
so bad at it. Yeah. I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
I only do WhatsApp if necessary.
This is nothing like Facebook, by the way. WhatsApp is not like Facebook. It's text
It
messages.
just keeps coming through and through and through, and it's endless.
I know, but if you just look at this one, the Pesach rabbinic questions, you only have to look at it for the next 2 weeks. It just might answer your question. But I understand.
How do you go on it?
So, what?
How do you go on it? I don't want to.
Do you get our emails? We have it in our email.
No, I have to. That's why I have to ask Andrea the other day how I can get your email.
The buy it emails. Do you get the buy it emails?
No.
So it's in the. Oh, you don't get them. Okay. So Andrea, you could just forward to her the one about the two. It's called 2 Essential Buy It WhatsApp groups. So you just want to join the rabbinic questions. Just join it for the next few weeks. But we also have many. Here, I'm going to write. See, we have a lot of resources that we put together. But I'm just going to send you in the. I just want to send. Where's everybody? Okay. So Sabina, look at this. I'm writing it, thebayit.org/Pesach. Very easy to remember.
org/Pesach. Okay.
Right. So we have /this/that. This is /Pesach.
thebayit.org/Pesach.
.org. You can copy it if you want right now. You can always reach out to me privately. That's fine too.
Okay.
So on that page, I can even put it up. On that page, you're going to find all the resources that we offer. So on the bottom left of that page, you have koshering for Pesach, that file, food for Pesach, FAQs, that's frequently asked questions. Right. And if you don't see an answer there, you can reach out. So if you get on the WhatsApp group, somebody else, now you won't see yesterday's questions when you get on the WhatsApp groups. You're only going to see from now going forward. So if you need to ask the question again, it's okay. And what I do is I post the files occasionally, like every few days. Reminds me, I'll post them, I'll repost them before Shabbat. Okay. Almond milk. I think I actually have it in one of mine. I just don't remember it always. That's why it's written down. Makes my life much easier. I lost it again. Just a moment. Because I went, maybe on here. Wait. I think I might have it in my FAQ. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you an FAQ, Sabina, so you get a feeling for how we answer questions. Okay, the FAQ are additional. So in the frequently asked questions, almond milk and coconut milk, there are some kitniot concerns in these products, which we haven't discussed kitniot yet. Our general approach is therefore to buy them with kosher Pesach supervision. In case of need, whether financial or health related, if you buy kosher almond milk or coconut milk without kosher Pesach before Pesach, you can rely on nullification. You can use them as I explained. But they cannot be bought on Pesach itself. If you don't have, remember, because we said you can't nullify. That's the problem.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about kitniot. It's the K word. What are kitniot? Among Orthodox Ashkenazi and some Sephardic Jews, the custom minhag during Passover is to refrain not only from products of the 5 grains, not to be confused with the 5 towns, but also other grains and legumes. Traditions of what is considered kitniot vary from community to community, but generally include corn, rice, peas, lentils, and beans. Many also include other legumes such as peanuts and soy in this prohibition. We are strict on kitniot derivatives such as oils and food stabilizers. However, I would add a caveat that in Israel, it's become much, much more common to see people who either eat full kitniot, who have released that vow, or eat like derivative. Let's say a food stabilizer in a chocolate bar or in a yogurt. Nobody can taste the kitniot taste. It's a stabilizer. It's not like eating corn on the cob. So there are many people, including some of my own children, who eat with food stabilizers made of kitniot, or even some even eat kitniot outright. Remember, in Israel, it's a big melting pot. There are many, 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 many Sfardim, Eidot Mizrach. They all eat some form of kitniot. Moroccans eat everything except for rice. Taimanim, Yemenites eat all of them. It's not in the Torah. They're like, what's the problem? You can't have wheat, rice, spelt, oats, and barley. That's it. Why should we add corn and rice and legumes? Why? And they weren't part of the culture in Ashkenaz communities, which I guess had a problem. I don't know. Or that people started getting confused when they saw cornmeal. They're like, oh, we can have cornmeal, we can have wheat flour. I can't really explain it. It's not logical, but I think it was logical to the sages who set up that prohibition. But that is a rabbinic prohibition, or even, it's actually a custom, but it's so strong that it's become halacha pretty much. But it can't really be halacha because then you couldn't undo it. So it's like one of those strong customs that is so strong that in America, it's all about the kitniot, guys. Nobody would ever think of eating chametz. It's all about, do you eat this? Do you eat that? Do you eat this? Do you eat that? And it's all about the kitniot, which God never asked us to do, meaning the sages unfortunately added a whole layer of complication. Maybe I'm supposed to uphold what they say and I do it, but it did make things very complicated. I mean, I don't care if I don't have kitniot for a week, but it made everything much more complicated than it needed to be. Yes, Judy.
So I basically was going to ask about the whole logic of kitniot, because
no, there was a logic to it. It's similar
at that time in the Ashkenazi communities back then, and they really couldn't separate, weren't sure if the wheat was near the this or the that.
Well, that could be part of it, but no, I don't think that was the issue. I don't think it was cross-contamination. I think it was when you went to the greengrocer or you went to your local market, you had a bag of cornmeal, you had a bag of almond flour or whatever it was, rice flour, you had a bag of wheat flour, and it was too similar to each other. And they thought that people would get confused and would end up eating chametz.
Okay, so based on that statement,
yeah,
it makes absolutely no sense now.
Correct.
So, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not like I eat kitniot, because for us, it's obviously something I grew up in an Ashkenazi home, but why are we still doing it? Am I supposed to ask that
you
question?
could ask something similar about second day Yontif. We know now when Yontif is. So there's something called minhag avotenu biyadenu. Our ancestors' custom is in our hands, meaning we practice them. I don't have a good answer. It's such a strong minhag that people have such a taboo, almost, I would call it, about kitniot. It's so taboo that people get so freaked out that they can't imagine. I want to tell you, if you live in Israel, you get a lot less freaked out by kitniot because people all around you are eating kitniot, and it's totally okay. There was no problem with it. I have to tell you, let me give you an example. When Pesach ends on a Friday, okay, so outside of Israel, the last day is Shabbat. But inside of Israel, Pesach ended on Friday. Okay. There is no prohibition to eating chametz or kitniot on Shabbat because it's not Pesach anymore. Everybody with me on that logic? Because remember, in Israel, you don't have an extra day of Yom Tov.
Right.
But you can't eat chametz. Why? Because you sold it and you can't buy it back on Yom Tov.
Okay.
But you could eat kitniot.
That makes sense.
If you bought rice and corn and green beans and soy and hummus and all those things, a huge amount, if you bought them and had them, you're allowed to have them in your home. There's no problem. If you bought them, you could serve it on the 8th day with no problem.
Mhm.
Now, Americans generally, it's not everybody, who come to Israel, they can't imagine doing that. Like, what? Kidney out on my Pesach dishes. They really can't imagine it. I'm not like making this up. And after they've lived in Israel for a while, they're like, yeah, this is great. It's our 8-day Chag. We can have kidney out on the 8th day. It's so much fun. And when somebody said to me, why are you doing that? Because I made a point. First of all, my kids really liked, some of my kids were very actually hungry, although I made a lot of delicious food on Pesach. But some of them didn't like potatoes, and they just wanted, so for them it was a lot of fun to have rice, which was something they really liked, and other foods that they liked. I said, it's not just, of course they could last another day, right? I'm not talking about health issues. But I said, what a beautiful way to show them that this 8th day is not Pesach anymore, but you can't do chametz because you haven't been able to buy it back, but you can have kidney oat because there's no prohibition against eating kidney oat because it's not Pesach anymore. So I said, I do it not just for the fun, it's just cool, but it's also to show my children, it's a teaching moment to show people that it's not Pesach today, and actually we can have kidney oat. Not because we're like Sfardim, but because it's actually biblically allowed. And it doesn't trafe up your dishes. You cannot trafe up your dishes with kidney oat. Yes, what are you showing me? Yeah,
Okay.
Pesach Rabbinic Resources.
No, I
Yep.
got it.
And on there, Sabina, you'll
Yeah.
find things to click on.
Right. Where I
Okay.
grew up, where we used
Are-
to live in Brooklyn, kidney oat was very common. I lived where all the Sephardi live.
Where the Syrians, for example?
Yeah, I was in Sheepshead Bay and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But people who didn't grow up there,
Yeah.
they're like scared that it'll be in the sink
Right,
together
yeah.
or something. It's going to contaminate it. And I understand it, but I'm telling you, there's no halakha basis. Okay. Let's see, what else? So this includes, in general, rice, pea, lentils, beans. Now, even though green beans shouldn't fall into this category, most people don't eat string beans because they hear the word beans. It's like regular beans. I don't know. Remember,
Okay.
kidney oat are not chametz. We do not sell kidney oat, and kidney oat are only forbidden to be eaten. Why am I saying that? I forgot to tell you at the beginning that food made with one of these 5 grains have an isur achila, you're forbidden to eat, and an isur hana'ah, forbidden to have enjoyment from food that is chametz, meaning you can't sell it either, or give it to your dog, because then you get enjoyment out of it. It doesn't have to be eating enjoyment. Kidney oat, you have no problem using kidney oat. You can, because they're rabbinically, they're accustomed, they're not, so you could feed your dog or your animal kidney oat. Now let's go to seeds. Somebody asked about seeds. These seeds may be bought whole without kosher Pesach supervision. Ground seeds needed. These are the 4 seeds. The following are considered kidney oat. Here we have a nice long list: beans, buckwheat, caraway, cardamom, corn, edamame, fennel seeds, poppy seeds, peas, mustard seeds, mustard. We don't have mustard, which is weird because who makes mustard flour? But it's a legume. Millet, lentils, green beans, fenugreek, rapeseed, rice, sesame seeds, sorghum seeds, soybeans, sunflower seeds. Oh, sunflower seeds, I forgot. Teff. I don't remember myself, by the way. I have to check up here.
I don't know.
These
What
are
is
not
a
considered.
What's a teff?
Teff
T-E-F.
is a type of grain,
It's an Ethiopian grain.
Oh,
Used in Ethiopia.
like amaranth and those.
Yeah.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Anise, carob, all these are not considered kidney oat. Oops, one second. The following may be considered, oh, wait a second. Give me a moment. I lost my pagination. Like peanuts, you may remember as a child having peanut oil, but
Yes,
that
I do.
changed over time. Yep.
I
changed
do
over time.
remember that. It's so interesting.
Right,
Yep.
and it always was odd. We couldn't have peanuts, but we could have peanut oil.
Right. And that was kind of one of the few oils that were available for Pesach back then. is
Right,
peanut
right.
oil.
And almond oil is very expensive. Olive oil is expensive, and it's also not good for frying. But, cottonseed oil is good, but it's very heavy. I remember I had leftover cottonseed oil after Pesach one year, and I made a potato or something with it during the year, or a cake. Oh, maybe like a cake. And it was so heavy, and I threw it away. I thought there was something wrong. And I made it again with the cottonseed oil. And again, it came out. I realized it was the oil. So, now, these can be used without certification. I mean, some of them are obvious, like paper towels. perfume at some point, somebody thought perfume could be edible or something. I don't know. These things, you don't eat them, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. Now, rabbinic authorities disagree as to whether kosher certification of these items is required. Toothpaste, mouthwash, and lipstick, lip balm. Consult your rabbi. Please. Okay, so that's the Passover guide. Toiletries. There's a big difference between toothbrushes and toothpaste. Toothbrushes, you must have a new one because it actually has chametz on it. But toothpaste and mouthwash, so these are okay. But usually we open a new one, but you don't. And the reason is because you usually touch the end of your opening of your toothpaste to your toothbrush. So you're not careful all year round to keep it away from it. So that's a reason to have a new one. And then you just go back to your old one after Pesach. Everybody with me on this? Again, this file is available to all of you. So you can look them up, when you finish. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Nobody wants to ask
But on the other hand, you're not cooking on that surface of the toothpaste holder, the tube.
No, I agree, Anna, but you have literally chametz. In other words, because your toothbrush literally could have pieces of chametz and you touch the lip of it, you could actually have chametz go into your toothpaste. I mean, it could happen. I don't think it's common, but we're not careful. So what's the harm of opening a new one and just using the new one and the old one after Pesach? You don't have to if you're careful, but because it's literally, the problem is, Anna, that it's a very small opening, so you can't clean it. So if something kind of popped into your opening on the toothpaste, you can't get it out. So that's the problem with it. That's why we recommend using a new one. That, by the way, is not about cooking. That's about literally a little piece of chametz getting inside. Because toothbrushes go right on your teeth.
If it's a 60th of the, I mean, you wouldn't notice if it's less than a 60,
Right. But that's not what happens. I'll tell you why. Because you take just a little bit of it on your toothbrush. You don't take the whole thing. So you might actually have a particle of chametz. You're right. You could rely on that, but toothpaste, in my opinion, unless it's like brand new and you know that you didn't touch it.
Well, I have a prescription toothpaste, so I'm careful.
So you have a reason that you might, maybe it's too expensive. No. In special case, so then what I would do in your case, I would squeeze a little out before Pesach and I would wipe it down very carefully. I would wipe down the opening and squeeze out a little bit, because if anything got in, it probably is at the top. But for most people, for a general practice, I would say no. But if you have prescription toothpaste, it's expensive 100%. So that's what you have to say. Then we take special precautions. So again, wipe the lip, squeeze a teeny bit out. You can squeeze it out, just don't touch the toothbrush, and it's good to go. All right? Okay, great. Judy.
So there is something in very small print there about lipstick. And could you just go over the thing about lipstick?
Yeah.
Yes or no, or you buy a new one, you can use an old one, or
what I suggest, it's not edible. The only question is because it goes on your lips, that it might actually literally have a little bit of chametz, even if, as you say, Anna, it could be nullified, but the amount you put on your lips is a small amount. That's the problem. So I recommend, if it's a lipstick that you think you might have put on, I don't think I ever put on lipstick when my mouth isn't clean, but it could happen. I just wipe it off. Before Pesach, take a tissue and wipe off the end. That's the most that could happen to it.
Okay. So, I was always told you just buy a new lipstick for Pesach, but.
You could, but some people have different colors that they want.
I don't.
Let's see. What does it say about lipstick?
No, I could. It was very small things there. I wasn't sure what it said. What does it say?
If you go by OU, if it's inedible, it shouldn't really be a problem. The lipstick itself. The only problem might be that some food somehow got on it. So that's why.
Or flavored lipstick, I guess. A lip balm.
Yes, agreed. Then it's edible. If it's flavored, then it's edible. That's a problem. Because you don't know what's in it. Very good. Thank you for saying that. Now, what do you do about what do you do about medicines? In general, pills that are swallowed and not derech achila, the normal way of eating, are not fit for dogs' consumption and may be swallowed on Pesach. Now, I don't know why gel caps are, and I think that's kitniot, basically. Gel caps are an exception. They may have chametz. So basically what we say, all things being equal, if it's possible to find a replacement for gel caps, it's preferable. Because remember what we said on Monday, that we're more careful on Pesach than all year round. And if not, take what you need, because medicine is important. Okay? We are more lenient about medicines containing kitniot than we are about food containing kitniot. Ooh, I don't know if this is true. This may not be. Let me just see if this. Oh yeah, it is the Pesach guide. Yep. Okay, we're good. Great. I'm glad that linked. I just have to reword this. Okay. Vitamins, if they're non-chewable, we already said you can swallow, no problem. If they're chewable, check with your doctor. If it's important for you to take it, treat it like medicine. For kitniot, it's certainly not a problem if it has real. Look, I take something. I need to take every day calcium, and I can't tolerate the pills of calcium. They make my stomach upset. So I take the Viactive or anything else, the chews. Anybody know them? They're calcium chews. They're packaged in like a chocolate chew. And it's for sure kitniot, I would assume, maybe chametz. I don't think it's chametz, but because they're gluten-free. But I asked my doctor and he said, there is no problem if you skip it for 8 days. It's not even 8 days because I take one on Erev Pesach. And on the last day of Pesach, when Pesach is out, I take it. So it's really 7 days. And he said, there's no problem skipping it. But if you have a medicine that your doctor says you cannot skip and it's chewable, take it.
So you were just about to talk about pet food, because I know Sabina and I were interested in pet food.
So if it has kitniot, there is zero problem, Judy. Remember, you're allowed to have hana'ah, enjoyment, meaning you're allowed to enjoy the fact that your pet can eat it. So if it's only kitniot, no problem. If your pet requires or will only eat a chametz diet, you actually have to sell your pet as well as the pet food.
That is very
Sorry.
funny. I gotta sell my pet. Wait till I tell my son he has to sell his pet. That would
No,
We
only
have
if
to buy it back.
But Judy, that's only if his pet will not eat kitniot foods. All right.
Yeah, it's
like
funny.
dry
Because
food. If you
sell
have
it,
dry
you're
food, will
actually-
most likely have a wheat base to it. So if you're feeding your cat dry food, then you can't, then that would, you'd sell your cats and then feed your
Well,
cat.
you sell it in the same way that we sell our chametz.
Right.
But then you have to have a stipulation that the non-Jew is allowing you to use their pet food to feed their pet over Pesach.
Oh my
Right.
God. So is there a place to add pets on when we sell our chametz?
Is that on the form?
Is that on the form to sell my pet?
I
That's
think
actually an
that you are
important thing to put on.
correct. So I would say it's only important if you can't find kitniot food for your pet. Or just give them like regular chicken or meat for those 7, 8 days.
Yeah, they'd be happy.
Oh,
for
Louis
chicken
be thrilled
and
to
meat.
death.
Yes.
Exactly. I met Louis.
I've got a
Louis
picky
Kogel,
eating cat.
right?
My cat is very picky.
Sabina,
He won't eat
Louis
like
Isn't it Louis Kogel?
Right.
Yeah,
He
Anna,
prefers
that's a
with
problem.
chicken.
Yeah. Anna, that's a problem. Cats are extremely finicky. And if you have a problem and your cat will only eat a chametz, why don't you just check it, look at it, and see if it has chametz in it?
Most things do, because they have like meal added. They have additives of grain additives in things, and some things say
So
non-grain
sometimes
additives.
it's possible to
Right.
find out, to actually call up the company and say, when you say meal, is that cornmeal or is that wheat? You can actually, because what if your animal has a sensitivity? You need to know. So it's reasonable to ask.
But
So it's just the dry food.
Right,
I'll have to
not
find out.
joking, but you cannot change a pet's diet overnight. You'll have diarrhea all over.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, so at 16 3/4 year old, I will, he doesn't use my
No,
utensils
Sabina,
all
there's no
Wednesday.
problem with that. So first check to see if their food can, because in Israel, the dogli or whatever had a special Pesach de Kitniot one.
Yeah.
And I think we did end up giving our dog, well, she liked vegetables. We made sometimes egg for her, and she had like chicken and meat. We had, you know,
Yeah.
and then she would end up eating the food finally but cats are particularly finicky. And if you have an older dog, then if it has chametz, Sabina, and you can't change it, then you can speak to one of us or whatever shul you go to and figure out how to do it. Okay, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's nice that there's
Why?
a
Because you're
walk-around,
not
a turn-
allowed to. You're not allowed to get hana'ah. You're not allowed to get enjoyment from it. Cosmetics is no problem owning using whatever cosmetics you hire as they're not edible. It is good though to visual inspect lipsticks. That's what we hold, Judy. That have been used for any food particles. If you're unsure, there's a site where you can ask. So it's in there. If that's what you want. I don't do it, but if you want to do it, you can do it. I don't do it. How we doing, everybody? Did you get answers?
Well,
you
now
feel
I
more
know I have to
comfortable?
sell my dog. Now I'm a little upset about that. But other than
Well,
that.
you have to figure out who to sell your dog to.
I know.
Why
that's
don't you
what I'm
first see if your dog's dog food can
No,
taste
I
like it?
know. I'm just kidding. I've never heard of selling my animal before, but
You sell to Sabina. Sabina will sell her dog to Anna. Anna will sell
okay.
her
I'll
dog to
sell you.
Debbie.
I'll sell you
Debbie-
mine. You sell me yours. How's that, Sabina?
Exactly.
I thought we had to
Exactly.
sell it to a non-Jew.
I know.
You do. I was making a joke, Carol. You're 100% right. It would not help to sell to each other.
Now
know.
I
It
would
would
have to tell
definitely
my
not.
son to tell his dog too.
Only if there's chametz in the dog food, and that you
Okay.
can't give them something non-chametz. All right, friends. Any other? I'm sure there are many more questions. I'm happy to hear them. If I can answer them, great. I just wanted to make order. By the way, as I said, look through your cabinet. Many of your food items may have a P on it that you don't even realize.
So bracha,
So check it out. Yeah.
can I use grains like millet and farro as well as quinoa?
You have to look on the list, look on the FAQ and look on our food guide. I don't remember. And
Then
you can also look up, listen, Carol, we also have links to CRCOU star K. But
Okay.
if you don't find it because what we do, for instance, quinoa, some people say you can't have it and some people say you can. So as long as it's a reliable organization that says you can, good enough. So Rav Stevens, Shita is literally, he says, look, let's take the 3 most reliable organizations. They also put out great guides and just take the most lenient position. Why do we have to be more machmir? We don't need that. We don't have to do OU. If the star K gives us a more lenient position, we're not talking about transgressing.
Right.
We're talking about a lenient or stricter position.
Right. I've used quinoa, but I never even thought to use millet or farro, but they're not one of the
So
5.
you have to look because some of them said that they are and some of them said they're not. It's in the food guide.
Right. And I have amaranth too in my house.
So look in the food guide to see if it is. Yes, Sabina.
Okay, I have something is called palmini. It's riced hearts of palm.
Nice.
And it's got a kosher. It's sliced hearts of palm, water, natural sea salt, and citric acid. And you've got to wash it in a colander and drain it before you use it. And it makes like a rice. The noodle is disgusting. It's soggy, but the rice is really nice. Would this be probably okay?
I would say buy it before Pesach.
Yeah, I'm going to go online and order it now.
That's very nice.
And to make a pilaf out of it. It's delicious.
Sounds amazing.
Okay. But don't get the noodle. The noodle's much.
So send me the picture and I'll also check. Send me a picture of the front and the back, which has the ingredients, and I'm going to check on it because I sometimes something sneaks in there that we don't realize. Okay. Do you have my either phone or my email? It's like all over the place. Just look up HIR, you'll find it. Here, I'll
Is there
send it
some
to
way
you.
you can list it so that we could see what that is? Because that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm hoping
I'd like
also.
to know about what that is.
I know all of us are interested. I never heard of it.
I know what hearts of palm is.
Here, show us what it is because we're all really excited about it. One second. I'm putting spotlight. Halmini rice, okay. And then turn it around, the other side. Oh, it's very hard to see though. Okay, so we need you to take a picture and send it to me, and then I'm gonna
Okay,
look it
give
up
me
and figure
your-
it out.
Can you give me your?
I put it into the chat. Is that helpful for you?
Let me
Or
go
do
to
you
the
want me
chat.
to?
Okay, I guess I could send it. You don't have a cell phone,
I can
do
also
you?
give you my phone number if that's easier.
That's the easiest for me to send a cell.
443
443
983
983
5083.
5083. I mean, it makes a nice pilaf. I'll send it to you and you can check it out. It does have
Sounds
a K
amazing.
on it, and, you know.
Wait, it has a K, just a K?
It might not be okay. It has a K, it's non-GMO, it's vegan, it's gluten-free.
I mean,
doesn't
I have to check it out. I'll
have a
tell you why,
KP.
because it does?
It does not have a KP, it just has,
Because K just by itself, no triangle, no O.
it's in a circle.
Oh, it's okay. I'll tell you why
Okay.
I'm asking. Because K by itself
There's
is,
a K in a circle.
no, that's called okay.
Oh,
And that's the
okay.
name of a kashrut supervision. Because when it's just by itself, it's not copyrighted. You could put K on
Right,
pork.
I'll show it to you. I picked it up.
Okay, no, okay is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So let
And
me
if
just see if
no,
it's
no,
kosher.
I won't get nuts over this.
No, I'm gonna check it
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna check it out. And I'll let you, I mean, I don't know where I'll put it. I guess I'll let you know and I'll put it
Okay.
into our WhatsApp
Okay.
and in our FAQ or
And-
something like
yeah.
that. All right, my friends, any other particular question?
Thank you.
I'm here for questions. Feel comfortable reaching out, please. If there's anything I can help you with, my goal is to reduce your anxiety
Stress.
and make things and stress and to literally make your life easier as much as I can.
Earth Balance, is that, I bought some today, a fresh one.
I would assume that it's kitniyot, but you have to look and see what it's made of.
I think it has
Now, I
salt
wanna
in it, Carol.
Has
I mean, it
olive
must
oil.
have corn. It doesn't have corn oil in it?
But I think it has
No,
soy.
it has
Soybean.
olive oil.
Oh, I thought it
So
had
check
soy
if it
in
has
it.
soy. I
You
mean,
have to
once
find
it's
out.
processed, it's not so simple that
Yeah,
you can just
I
assume that
think
it's okay.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you bought it now, Carol. You could just put it away. What difference does it make? So what?
I'm gonna have a lot of things put away.
So do I. I have a whole bag in the refrigerator that I put away. I just opened the mayonnaise. I mean, what am I going to do? It's just, I needed mayonnaise. It's a new bottle. So I'll put it into a closed bag. I'll write chametz or whatever I write on it, put it in the back of my fridge. And I mean, if there's only a small amount left, I don't keep it. It just doesn't feel worth taking up valuable real estate in my fridge. But if it's a lot, like you said, you could probably freeze that, by the way, Carol. That might make it easier for you.
Oh, yeah.
Carol,
Good, yes.
I happen to have like one of these small refrigerators from the dorm. If that would be easier for you to use that for your own stuff, you can let me know so that you could just make that non-kosher Pesach. If that would make life easier for you, since you.
So sweet, Anna.
Oh, thank you. Well, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so sweet, Anna. That's really nice. Sabina, did you have another question?
No.
No, you're good? Okay. Trying to think, is there anything else I can help with? All right. Happy Pesaching. Please, please, please don't go overboard. Don't make yourselves crazy. Okay? Oh, I know what I want.
Yeah, is
wanted
there
to
any way
say.
you can make food less expensive? That would be.
That is a problem. Yes. That was very funny. She sent me a hilarious.
I did. I
video.
sent you that video, right? It was
hilarious. It was
about
so
buying
funny.
stuff for Pesach.
Carol, because you're vegan, so people who are vegan, sometimes feel very hungry and they can't get satisfied because they're used to having, let's say, beans to feel full, or some other kind of kitniyot. So there are definitely heterim, meaning allowances, halachic allowances, for somebody who is a vegan and and is not able to feel full. Like they can't, like some people, if they mostly eat nuts to feel full, they're fine. But other people, if they use beans or something else like kitniyot. So if that's the case by you, please make sure to reach out. Okay.
Okay.
Or anybody else you know who's vegan, who's having, trouble
Yeah.
with that. Reb Natty gave the heter for that, and that feels very reliable for me. I mean, I would certainly tell somebody who's vegan and who's nervous and is going to be hungry, I would say, eat kidney out. Like, that's what you have to do. Hatzarat Nidarim. I think you have to, it's a release of the vow. It's annulment of the vow, but that's easy to do. You just do it for 3 men over bar mitzvah age. And then for a vegan. So just throwing it out there.
I guess, I'll eat a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes and fresh.
Right, but potatoes,
Butternut
sweet
squash.
potatoes they don't have protein. So I would be hungry.
Well, I can have
For me.
nuts.
Right. So again, if you get your protein,
have the beans. That's right. I can't have.
If you have the protein
quinoa
from
has
nuts.
Quinoa has protein.
So I don't get full from quinoa. I've tried that. It doesn't make me full, but if it makes you full, terrific.
All right. Well, hopefully some of those other grains are okay.
Right. Maybe some of those other grains. Yeah, but Carol, if they're not, and if you're hungry, please reach out.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Rabbanit
you.
Bracha. Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful
Pleasure.
Passover.
It was delightful sharing this
Thank
time with you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Carol, just let me know, okay? If you
Yeah.
need it.